Welcome to Our Girl Relationships. We talk about the problems people face in their day-to-day lives. Let's start with the video.
I, female, 37, have been happily married to my husband Dale, male, 40, for the last 7 years. We've been trying for a child, even though we're a little older than the usual age for a kid, for the past 2 years, and it has been a struggle. From consulting doctors to changing diets, locales, and everything possible under the sun, nothing was helping to bless us with a beautiful baby. However, in July of last year, I got pregnant. It was honestly one of the most exhilarating moments of my life to see those two lines pop up on the pregnancy test, with Dale's hand tightening on my shoulder as he watched with me. The tears of joy that came afterward and the excited squeals of my mom when I called to tell her were unforgettable. Another thing was my sister Janice, female 30, also got pregnant a week before me. To be honest, I was excited to share this common experience with her, and it would have been a cool way for us to bond. Obviously, with a 7-year age gap, we weren't super close in terms of liking the same things or having the same friends, but I was always her big sister and tried to do right by her. This included making sure she didn't end up with the wrong people in the dating pool because we live in a town with a lot of weird guys. Imagine a dude who drives a beat-up Ford and becomes a baby daddy 3 times a year. Yeah, that was, unfortunately, my sister's type. However, her husband, Derek, is a really sweet guy, and we've come to love him in the family. Now, back to our pregnancies. I was super stoked about this, and so was Janice. We shared common resources, went for checkups together, and our husbands also became good buds at this time. Hell, we even attended birthing classes together. Our parents were all excited for both of us, and Dad even promised us a little nest egg to help with the expensive journey of raising a kid. He said he'd transfer it to an account in our children's name once they were both born. So, with this much love and support coming my way, my first 2 trimesters were as easy as pie. But there was a weird change in Janice's attitude during the last 3 months of the pregnancy. She got distant from me, and even Derek told me that she had been really closed off and was often going out alone to the mall for alone time, saying she was feeling suffocated at home. Then, Mom suggested that we could have a joint baby shower to save on costs, and since that might allow some of our relatives who live out of state to come to visit, they can attend 2 events in one and make it less of a hassle for them. I love this idea, and to be honest, maybe it would help Janice feel less distant from us again. We had gone over to my parents for a Sunday roast along with Janice and Derek, and that's when Mom suggested the idea to Janice. However, she immediately shot it down, much to our shock. After that, things got awkward, and I and Mom were really hurt, so dinner didn't go very well. Once I got home, I got a text message from Janice telling me that she had been having a crisis recently about our shared pregnancies and that it would be unfair to have a shared baby shower because the focus would be less on her baby, more on how cool it was that we both got pregnant around the same time. She also made a few points about how it might be weird to receive and open gifts next to each other, and that might lead to jealousy or ugly feelings. This may come from the fact that I do have a few extravagantly rich friends, and they tend to be a bit tone deaf with giving gifts. Once I received a $3,000 makeup kit for my birthday, and when that spread through the grapevine, Janice got a little upset about it, even though she knows she shouldn't be. So when I got those messages, I did understand why she felt that way. I texted back saying that I am cool with that, and I also thanked her for giving us a valid reason. I explained her perspective to Mom as well to make sure she doesn't make a mountain out of a molehill through Janice's behavior today. Well, a week after that, Dale casually mentioned to me that Janice's baby shower was happening in 2 days. Derek had mentioned it offhand and had even shared an online mood board with Dale to help us out with ours. He said Janice had made it to have the perfect baby shower. On the mood board, there was a link to the guest list, and I wasn't even on it. When Dale had mentioned it to me, I simply thought Janice forgot to send out my invite or something along those lines. But when I was going through the guest list, it was clear she didn't want me there at all. Never mind not having a shared baby shower, she didn't even invite me. While I was fuming over this, I noticed someone's name on the guest list, which made me raise my eyebrows to the damn sky. There was Janice's ex-boyfriend, Tyler. This dude nearly ruined my little sister's life back when she was a teenager. Imagine your typical deadbeat add a dash of crime and a pinch of stupidity, and you have Tyler. Their relationship was really very toxic back in the past, and it went on for nearly a year before the family staged an intervention for Janice, asking, begging and pleading, her to break it off. It did work, but I know for a fact that the scumbag still follows my sister on her socials. Yeah, that's the dude who was suddenly invited to Janice's party. A bunch of alarm bells was ringing in my head, and I called Derek to ask whether he had taken a look at the guest list. He sheepishly told me, yeah, I know, OP, I wanted to invite you too. But at this point, that was the last thing on my mind. Brushing that off, I asked him whether he knew about Tyler, and he replied, oh, yep. Janice said they were buddies in high school, and she recently caught up with him and wanted to find out what he'd been up to. I don't know the guy too well, but any friend of Janice is a friend of mine. Oh man, it was all making sense now. The sudden switch from being excited about our shared pregnancy to this just meant one thing. She didn't want me to know that Tyler was invited. Even worse, it turned out that she hadn't told Derek her full story with Tyler either. Without going into too many details, this guy had nearly gotten Janice arrested not once, but multiple times. Like literally a few weeks after Janice broke it off with him, he was arrested for stealing somebody's Challenger and taking it on a joyride. But according to Derek, he was just some nostalgic friend from the past. I asked Derek if I could talk to him in private and in person away from Janice. Like immediately. He could sense the seriousness in my voice and agreed immediately. We went to a local Denny's. I took Dale along, and on the way, I was just thinking, this situation is so crazy. I can't believe Janice would go to such lengths to hide the fact that she invited Tyler to the baby shower. I was genuinely worried that something worse might be underfoot as well, but my first job was to tell Derek about this. I love my sister, but it was just wrong to hide this from her husband. When we got there, I told Derek all about Janice's history with Tyler and why I thought it was weird for him to be invited. I also told him about my sneaking suspicion that the only reason I was uninvited was because of Tyler. It was heartbreaking to see his smile go away, and I could tell he was also really hurt by the fact Janice hid all of this from him. He told me to rest easy and that he would go back and confront Janice about the invite. On the drive back, I started feeling guilty about bringing this up in the first place. Was I overthinking about Tyler being invited to the baby shower? Maybe he was a changed man and Janice was just too embarrassed to tell Derek about her past. In fact, was it even my place to tell Derek? Ugh, it's been killing me all evening, so I needed to ask you, Reddit, AITA? Update 1. Wow, this post blew up, and I just wanted to update you guys with everything that's happened so far. After Derek went back, he confronted Janice about Tyler and all the new information he had. She did admit to lying about who Tyler was, but promised he was a changed person now, and she had only been talking to him for the last year or so, since he messaged her again on Facebook. Now, when I heard that, my mind was at ease and I felt really stupid for being so worried about Tyler being back in her life. But on the day of Janice's baby shower, I still didn't go out of respect for Janice's wishes, despite the fact that they were kind of shaky now that I knew the real reason. I got a text from one of our relatives who had been invited asking me to come over right now and fix this. So I drove over, and what do I see? A very drunk Tyler stumbling around the event and knocks over gifts, mumbling something about stepping up for the little guy. Those alarm bells were back, and it was very clear that Janice had only told us a half truth. Yes, Tyler was back in her life. No, he was not a changed man. Derek and I basically kicked him out of the event, and Janice was left pale-faced. The baby shower had to be cut short, and Derek asked me to leave so he could speak to Janice. I just got home, and I'm really worried about their relationship. Update 2. It was the next day, and the worst possible thing came to light. Janice was cheating on Derek with Tyler. I was heartbroken, and as much as I love my sister, this isn't something I could forgive. Even worse, there's a chance that the kid is Tyler's. All of those times she wanted alone time during her last trimester, she had been visiting Tyler to figure out how to solve all of this. There hasn't been a paternity test yet, but Derek has asked for one, along with divorce papers. Tyler was supposed to come to the baby shower and just pretend to be an old friend, but he ended up getting drunk, and you all remember how that went. So the whole family is shaken. I, Mom, and Dale are all on Derek's side, but Dad is trying to make excuses for Janice. Update 3. The paternity test came back. The kid is Tyler's. Derek has kicked Janice out of the house, and I've been dealing with all the drama while heavily pregnant. So that's been something. Janice tried to move back in with Mom and Dad. Mom was initially reluctant, but did it for the sake of the unborn kid, if not anything else. Dale, Derek, and I are still close friends, and through that, I have decided to go LC with Janice. I know she's my little sister, but we tried to pull her away from the guy who we knew was going to ruin her life, and she didn't listen. That's no longer my problem. ESH. I don't think you need to put your nose into their business, and yeah, you shouldn't judge Tyler based on the past. Edit. Wow, I read the updates. Your sister is a two-faced bitch. NTA. NTA, and it's great that you're there for Derek during this time. He must be really heartbroken. I know family means a lot, but it's clear Janice isn't ready to accept the help she needs. I hope the kids get a good support system, though, because IMO, they don't deserve any sadness because of shit parents. Next story. We currently live with my mom and are saving like hell to get out, but we had some huge setbacks and she was our only option. My mom and my wife do not get along at all. My mom did imply she was fat one time while wedding dress shopping, and I lost my mind on her. I'm talking she was almost uninvited to the wedding. My mom and I got into a fight 3 months ago, and she hasn't spoken to me since. She told us to figure out our own food, and we weren't to touch anything she cooked. This applies to both of us. Honestly, it is hard because we don't feel comfortable in her kitchen, and we do get a bit jealous because their food is amazing. But we have been figuring it out. My stepsister and her boyfriend visited the other day, and my mom ordered everyone food from a fancy steakhouse except for us. I know my wife was pissy about that, and I totally get it. My mom has been baking a bit more recently and making things for her husband. She made fudge and some amazing-looking cake and encouraged his mom to take some home because they weren't going to finish it. And even then, she wouldn't let us touch it. The final straw was yesterday when my mom saw my wife eating some crackers and yelled that she paid for those crackers and to get away from them. My wife came to me in tears and said my mom was fat-shaming her. I said I didn't feel that she was because I'm not allowed to eat either. I said my mom was just not speaking to us due to the fight. My wife argued that she purposely brought sweets around and offered them to everyone, but she is fat-shaming. But I said my mom is allowed to eat what she wants and is currently ignoring us, so I really don't think it is about weight. Now my wife is mad at me. Edit. About the fight. On my mom's birthday, she had people over, and I came home and was going to go straight to my room. My aunt gave me the attitude about how I should stay and socialize. I asked my mom if that was what she wanted, and she said no. She said she had previously asked if I could spend time with them, sometimes without my wife, and I refused. I'm talking about times when she has her husband and everyone else has someone. So she doesn't want to spend any special occasions with me again. I muttered that she is such a bitch, and she said she now sees why everyone pressured her to not keep the baby, me. I told her that she chose to keep me so she isn't a victim and no one feels bad for her. And she started yelling about how if she could have predicted this, she wouldn't have kept me. This has zero to do with your wife's weight. It has to do with your mother not wanting to pay for your food. You're living in her house for free, I'm assuming, and you seem to be expecting free food on top of the free board. But instead of behaving grateful for what your mother is providing, you're demanding more. YTA for freeloading off your mother. ESH, because honestly, your mother just wants 2 moochers out of her house, and you two haven't gotten the hint. Next story. Dating a widower for the past 4.7 years, and his ex-wife died exactly a day before my birthday. I'm very considerate of the fact that he gets sad around this time, so we visit her grave together with his son and meet his ex-in-laws for kind of a yearly commemorating lunch. We also celebrate his late wife's birthday and of each and every family member from both sides of the family. But we never really celebrated my birthday, not even dinner. He will usually wish me over text or call, and that's it. Not that I want fancy gifts, but it's nice to celebrate this day with the person you love. So this year, I really wanted to celebrate my birthday with all my colleagues from work, our friends and his relatives, because I got promoted recently and wanted to throw a get-together. I asked my boyfriend's sister about this, and she was thrilled, so we proceeded to tell the other family members as well. My boyfriend was very unhappy and said the time around my birthday is a very sad period for all of them, and I was insisting on partying. His mom said I was being selfish and not understanding what my boyfriend is going through. I dropped the idea and told him that I promised to never celebrate my birthday with him ever, even if we get married. He said I was being immature and I'm hurting him. So I'm actually torn. On one side, I feel like I'm being immature, but on the other hand, I feel that I deserve my own celebration as well. P.S. In case anyone asks, I met my boyfriend 7 years after his wife passed away. Also, it feels illegal to go out and celebrate without him, so every year I usually order a cake for myself and watch movies in my apartment all alone. AITA? Edit. Thank you everyone for your kind suggestions. I've decided to not cancel my birthday plans. I will call my sister since she was excited to celebrate the day. I'd also call my boyfriend and invite him over. I've realized that it's been so long and there should be some positive outcome of this relationship. P.S. 2. Another thing which I didn't add was our cultural difference. He's American and I'm Asian. Edit 2. A lot of things happened in the last 3 hours. I was going through all your supportive comments, and somewhere it just enraged me so much. You guys are correct. I'm the doormat. I have no self-respect, so I'm being an AH to myself. I texted him around 8:30 saying I think we need to break up since I was suffocating in this relationship. He didn't reply and came straight to my apartment an hour later while crying nonstop. He said what will happen to him if I leave him. I don't know what to get from this. Does he really love me? I'm starting to ponder over that now. Or is he scared to be alone again? I said I need some time to decide. I don't think I'll be going back again this time. So he doesn't want you to celebrate your birthday ever, and when you say that, you're hurting him? It's a sensitive time, but he chose to start a new relationship. While that doesn't mean he can't be sad around this time, it also doesn't mean that you and your needs as his current partner stop mattering. To celebrate your late wife's birthday 11 years after her passing and involve your current partner but refuse to celebrate said partner's birthday is, in the nicest way I can put it, odd. NTA. In response to your second edit, he has gone even further down in my estimations. He came over and cried about what will happen to him if you all break up. His concern is himself. Seems like you're just around for his own comfort. He doesn't respect you as a partner or equal at all. NTA, and also you're being treated like a third-class citizen in your own relationship. Everything that's wrong with your relationship is your entire post. Everything you said is a huge red flag. They go out of their way to celebrate her life and death, but completely ignore you? I don't know how the rest of your relationship is, but I feel more like you're a replacement body than an actual individual person in your relationship. Stay tuned for more stories from our girl relationships.